DLP, or the Dynamics Learning Portal, is something from Microsoft. It's a portal from Microsoft, and it's got all kinds of learning materials for us. Now, this is very important because it's got the exam topics, as you can see here, and it's got exam preparation tools, and it also has online courses. So every day before I come and share some information with you, I'm actually going through some of these courses myself just to make sure that I have the newest information available and I'm not, I'm not talking old news. It's very important that you register on this portal. All of you have given me an email address, and I've registered you with that email address. So on that email address, you should get an invite to the Dynamics Learning Portal. If you didn't get it, then please let me know. Just so that I can see what's going on. Right. So if you guys wanna log in on the Dynamics Learning Portal, what I normally do is to DLP login, because it's not immediately I don't know, obvious for us to log in. So this is actually the Dynamics Learning Portal. It's called mdspartner.microsoft.com. So if you click on this, right, it looks like this. So you've got Microsoft Dynamics Learning Portal, and you can log in if you've got if you're a Microsoft Dynamics partner, and we are. So this is how we are going to log in. Or if you've got an organization account, if you work for a company that's given you access on this portal, or if you're a Microsoft employee, or if you're within the Microsoft Academic Alliance. But this is how we log in. So on the first box here, if you click here, it will probably log me in straight away because I've logged in before. Yeah, so it logged me in straight away. It says, hi me, and I've got all sorts of information here. Now, what you can do is just click on Dynamics 365 and look at and create a learning path and mark things as favorite and do a transcript as well. These are the courses that you've been on in case you want to go back. You can do assessments, you can do courses, you can do videos, you can do all sorts of things. I couldn't say that I'm using all of it, but what I do is actually to search for whatever exam I'm interested in. So in our case, this is the exam we are interested in. Guys, let me know if you can't hear me in the meantime, because I'll speak louder or something, okay? So this is our exam. I'm just doing a quick search and I get all of these, right? And you can just go on to each and every one of them, and the first one that it shows me is the sales certification preparation guide. We are interested in this, so we're just going to click on this, and here it is. So this is the link that you're interested in. You can register for the exam here, and then going here you can actually find courses online. Now for the manual, because I've told you that I'm using a manual as well. A manual is just a transcript of these courses, but if you're better off learning off a manual normally, then I can't remember how I found the manual, but you can just look for its title. So this is the actual course. And if I just search for its title, it should find it, hopefully. No? No? I don't know why it says marketing because this is sales, but whatever. This is a course and you can see course and go to resources and find the reference materials here, where you will actually find the PDF. If you cannot find it, just let me know and I will just email it to you, right? If you just download this, it'll show up as what you need. So this is the deal with the Dynamics Learning Portal. It's really very useful. We're actually gonna do the quiz of the first module today. So as I've said, this is what you need to do. I'm gonna send you the URL and everything so that it's easier for you to actually find the course. The other thing that I wanted to tell you is that within Dynamics 365, things are evolving really very quickly all the time. So because of that, you need to always be in touch with the newest technology if you want to succeed in this field. I know it's not easy, or we don't feel like reading a technology blog all the time, or we don't feel like trying new things all the time, but it's worth just having, I don't know, a Twitter account, a LinkedIn account, and from time to time just click on those links that the Microsoft Dynamics community are posting, because this is very important for you to be valuable for a company, right? So one of these links have just came about this week, and it's about the new release for this spring. So there's gonna be a session. James Phillips, which is who is the corporate vice president for the Business Applications Group, is gonna speak about some of the new features that they are launching in this spring. So this is very important. If you can make it, then just do it on March 28th. So yeah, it's meant to be really good. It's nothing technical. It's just things that are going to go live with Dynamics CRM. This is just something that you should get a habit of doing, moving on. Right. So this was our introduction for today. We're actually gonna go ahead and go through the first module of this manual. So the first module is sales administration setup. And we're just gonna go do this one today. Now, I know there's a lot of information. So this one says that sales administration setup is the first module, but then if we go back to DLP, we'll find that actually the first thing that we have to know about is how to create a customer organizational structure. And it's got manage customer records, manage the sales process, manage customer communication, and manage sales literature and competitors. Now, we don't want to get confused or go crazy about, oh, what am I going to learn? Even though it's not very clear, we can just assume that by manage customer records, they mean to actually create and maintain the records that we are going to use within the sales module. The managed sales process will deal with the business process flows, part of Dynamics 365, which is actually something very important and we all have to know about it. then manage customer communication. We've touched on this a little bit last time when we said that, oh, what if we meet someone at the presentation and they want to do something with us? If we're selling flowers or if we're doing flower arrangements and they're about to have a wedding, then they are a lead for us. This is a way of managing customer communication just by creating new leads. And then managing sales literature and competitors, we're gonna go into that um, a little bit later on. And this is with regards to other people who are, possibly selling the same things as we are, as well as what sort of documents do we send to a customers once they've agreed to buy something from us. So we're going to do a little bit of this and also the first module. And as we go on with our evening sessions, these will all hopefully very smoothly combine into one, and we'll have all the right knowledge that we need to have. Right. So we are going to start by talking about business process flows. I don't know if I've told you yet, but Dynamics CRM, or Dynamics 365 rather, it's a product that relies heavily on workflows. By workflows, I mean things that happen in the background when we do something. So, whenever we do something, there are some things happening in the background that allow us to do something else. For example, as I've said last time, when we create a new lead using the quick create, um, we can actually put in the topic and the last name, and when we save this, a new record will be saved in the background, but also, this information will show on a form. This information we can find on a view. There's all sorts of things that we can do. When we created a contact last time, we could see that we could relate it to an account. So not only did we know that that contact belonged to that account or company, but CRM automatically related the two records together. So all of these things are tiny little workflows that make our life easier. Now, a type of workflow is called business process flow. Business process flow are processes, as the name says, and these processes help you or help users go through their day-to-day job. So it creates necessary steps and stages from when you've started a sale until you are actually able to complete it. So you can complete an entire business case just by following a business process flow. Now we know that business process flows or business cases can be very complex things. Therefore, they have multiple stages. They can be branched, and also they can be customized. So this means that we do have some out of the box business process flows, such as this sales process flow that the DLP is telling us about. So we need to know about this. But what I'm saying is that there are many business process flows out of the box, and there are a lot more that we can actually create and customize. I've got this only in solutions thing here because this is something crucial. This is very important. No matter what anyone else tells you, regardless of trials or demos or anything else, we should only ever customize a Dynamics 365 system within a solution and not directly in the system, even though there is a possibility of of just customizing the system as it is. We should only do it within solutions, and I'll show you with a bit in a bit what I'm on about what this means actually. Right, so going back, I just want to show you a quick business process flow, which is the out of the box one for sales. And it all starts in leads. So I've got my open leads here, but I actually want all leads because within the all leads view, remember when I told you about views and forms? So within the all leads view, which is the list of all of the leads that I've got in the system, I've got information from my test account. So this is a more complete information because it just came with my trial. So opening this up, we can see here a business process flow. So this is our lead opportunity sales process. It's got a few characteristics. It's got stages. So these things are stages. Each stage has multiple fields, multiple but not infinite. I can tell you that a stage can have as many fields as you want, but I can also tell you that you can only see 12 steps. So I know that some customers won't be able to grasp the business process flow idea, and they feel like all of their fields are crucial and important, and everyone should fill them up. So they would want all of the fields within their stages within the business process flow. Before going ahead and adding all of their fields, it's worth knowing that as soon as you've filled in the 12 fields here, you will have a scroll bar around here and you won't be able to see all of the fields anymore. And then the business process flow doesn't make sense any longer. So the point here is to actually guide a salesperson um, towards a sale. So I've got the qualify stage. My qualify stage it's got questions actually. You can see here it's asking me, is this an existing contact? For this lead, for Darren Parker, do we know him? Did we speak to him in the past or not? And I can click here if they are. Oh, sorry. Well, let's see what happened. If they are an existing contact, I don't have to know by heart because of course, I don't know what where all the information in my system is. But what I can do, it's possible that I have a pop-up blocker and this is why it's throwing me errors. But what I can do is actually try and look them up. I don't know what happened here. I'll figure it out later. It's also asking me whether this is an existing account and it's already found my account. If I want to change the account, yeah, I'm afraid I need to change my browser because this is clearly, it doesn't let me open pop-ups, and this is why it does things like that. But you got the gist. You've got a few fields that you have to fill in before you can actually go to the next stage. So I've got here all this information. The other thing that you should know is that business process flow can spread throughout multiple entities. So let me just see here. Multiple entities. So let's just say that you actually want to follow your business process flow throughout your system. So throughout your system, you have a lead. But then you have other entities as well as you go away and develop your proposal. So in our case, in order to go to the next stage, I won't be able to go to the next stage because my next stage is actually in an opportunity. So it's telling me here, please select your opportunity. I don't have one yet, right? Because this is a lead. So what I can do to get to an opportunity is qualify the lead. This is the life cycle of a lead. You create it, you fill in more information about it, and then you qualify it. Once it's qualified, a lead turns into an opportunity by default. So you could see that by qualifying it, it got me to the opportunity entity straight away. If I go here, you can see that I've got a lead entity and an opportunity entity. So these two are different. So my workflow actually copied all of the information I needed within a new opportunity because I want to take this further and I want to offer them something. You can also see that this qualify stage here is checked. It says, oh, you've already done this, right? Now I'm in the develop stage. The other thing that you can see is that the develop stage is active for 1 minute. So our system can record how long did it take until I've added a lead, and since I've added the lead until I'm going to close the sale. So it says here that it took me 8 days and 15 hours because I've created this trial 8 days ago. And 8 days ago, I had the sample data in here. Once I've created the same sample data, it went straight into my first stage of the business process flow. Therefore, I had these many days since I've created the record until now. Right, so we are in the develop stage. It says, what's the customer need? So if I click here, I can say, let's just say that their Parker a what do they need? What do they need? They need a book, and we are a bookstore. So Darren Parker needs a sci-fi book for his strange journey. We are a special type of library because um, we are the kind that can identify the customer's needs based on what they like. We can record their likes and their dislikes, and they will actually pay us not only for the book but for actually searching the best book out there. So he really doesn't feel like searching through Goodreads before he finds the best book. And what's our proposed solution? What should we propose to this customer? I'm just reading this book now. So we are going to propose flowers for book. It won awards. It's very interesting. He's definitely going to see it. To like it for his train journey. Then I've got identify stakeholders. So did I identify who's a stakeholder for myself? Who's gonna pay me? Yep, I have. He's gonna pay me. So I've done this. Have I got any competitors? Is there anyone else on the market doing what I'm doing? Given the fact that I just made up this business, I don't think I have any competitors. So I've done this as well. As you can see, all of these steps are just, I could have left them not filled in as I had there they don't have the red star. So the other thing that we need to know is that business process flows can have mandatory fields. The mandatory fields within a business process flow does not count as mandatory for the whole form. You could see last time when I've created a contact or a lead, I had to fill in some information such as topic or last name. In our case, full name here, see? Without this information, so if I delete this, so if I delete this and try to save, I've got a little save here. It will say you must provide the value for topic. So I'll just say right. So you cannot save this without the important information. However, you can save it if you've got a mandatory field here, because this is only only valuable for the whole process and not for the form, not for a record in particular. So now that I filled in all this information, I can go to the next stage. So I can go to the next stage by clicking here. All of the sudden, you could see here that I've got an error to go back to the previous stage as well. So if in the meantime, our customer has changed their mind, or you felt like, oh, actually, my information wasn't correct, I can just click go back and say, no, do you know what? I actually haven't identified any competitors, so I really don't know. Maybe there are other people doing what I'm doing. And then click on next stage again. You could see that every time I'm making a move, the form would save itself. So if I fill in some information here, the whole record gets saved. And I've got, a proposal. Yeah. I've completed everything, and I can move over to close. And now I have finished my business process flow. Now, this business process flow, you could see I could finish it without filling in the important information here, because I don't have the mandatory star going about it. So really, a business process flow it's an indication of what you should do in order to make a sale. It's like a procedure or a script. I don't know if you've ever worked in an area that required a script, such as, I don't know, for a call center, or when you had to make a step-by-step decision. So this is very similar to that. It will tell you what you need to do next. That's its purpose. This was a really very simple example, and I think you can agree that not many businesses not many businesses will accept such a simple process. They'll just say, oh, this is useless, I can't use this is of no use for me. So what we can do is actually edit a business process flow. If you go onto Dynamics Learning Portal and follow the course there, including the manual, they'll tell you to go here, process, and click edit process. And what I'm saying is don't click edit process, because we should all get into the habit that we only modify things within Dynamics CRM within solutions. Solutions are like containers for all of your customizations within Dynamics 365. You need these because, for example, this is a trial CRM, but let's just say you do something really cool and you want to release it somewhere else in another environment. You can only do that via solutions. So whatever you do within the system by editing the business process flow, or if you go here, you can actually edit a field, a form, sorry. So if you click on the form, you can actually open the form editor and edit it. But the point is, this will only work on our environment here And always our customer will have multiple environments, and you will play with the staging environment or the development environment, but never with the production side. So then you'll have to release all of your work over to production, and you won't be able to if you do your customizations here. So what we'll do next is to actually go onto settings, and within settings we have solutions. You can see here we already have a bunch of solutions for all of the applications that we've installed when we've installed Dynamics 365. So even the base Dynamics 365 has solutions, right? So this is why we really should be using solutions. So I'm just going to go ahead and click on new, and I'm just going to create a new solution. I'm just going to call it learn to earn, because this is what we want to name it. You'll see here there's a name. For a solution you need a publisher, so we're just going to create a publisher. Do we want the default publisher? I don't know. Let's see how the default publisher looks like. You can see here how I can select things and just click on them and everything. Yeah, we don't want the default one. We're just gonna create a new one. So again, I'll do this again. I clicked on here to search for one. Every time we don't find the needed information, we can just click on look at more records. And if we don't have one, we can click on new and actually create a new one. And this is what we're gonna do. So we're gonna call it LDE, and the prefix is gonna be LDE. This is important because if a company works for with multiple consultancy companies, or if they even work with more developers, or they have a staged environment where they release separate information, you might want to know who published what, just just for as a way to organize your things. Oh, stay. Just want to save it. Save and close. Right. So we've now saved this. I can close this down. Within a solution, we can add as many elements of Dynamics CRM as we want. So, for example, here we're just gonna add the necessary elements for us to create a business process flow. So I've got this, and I'm just gonna save it. Oh, I need a version as well. I'm just gonna call it 0001. Normally it has a much more complicated versioning number here, but there's no point in us going through it now. I'm just gonna save this. Right. If we go on to processes, we can add an existing process within our solution. So our existing process is, you can see here how many processes I already have out of the box. But we actually want to add the leads to opportunity process. The lead to opportunity sales process. And also the opportunity sales process. Right, so I've added both here. They're both activated, they're both out of the box, everything, right? So I click on here. We can see the lead to opportunity sales process, and these are all of our stages. Right? So this is pretty cool. This means that if this is a silly step and I don't want it, I can actually delete it. I am clicking here and click delete. Yeah, I want to delete this step. That's it. I've got 6 now. If I'm saying that actually, when I got here, if my customer need is filled in, for example, maybe it's not always filled in, but if my customer need is filled in, I actually want another stage. Maybe I just want another stage if this field is filled in. So we can actually do that. So from here, we can add a condition first over here. And within my condition is, let's just say, what was the name? Field customer need. So within the condition, we can say, do we have customer need? So if customer need contains data, okay, then I just save. So you can see here, I can add more rules. I'm just gonna add one. Then we can actually add another step, a workflow. So a whole new workflow or a whole new stage. So if it does have a customer need, then I've got a new stage in the opportunity that's called has need, right? And I can actually add a new step here. What step do I want? Let's just say that I want to know about their current situation. And I'll click apply. And then I can actually apply this and save it. Oh, I've got an error. Let's just say like this. Right, so we can save this all sorts of things. We have these components. We can even drag and drop new components around here. Yeah, new stage. We can add new conditions. We can create workflows. I'll show you about workflows briefly a little bit in the future. And we can also have a data step. Let's see where we can add this one. Right. These are some data steps. So the data step is actually just a field that we want to fill in here. You won't have to do this, and you don't have to know it for the exam. But what you do have to know is that all these things are possible. So you don't have to do all of these operations around here, but you do need to know that a business process flow, as I said here, that a business process flow is a guide for users to actually go to their end result, that it can go through multiple entities. In our case, it went from lead to opportunity, that they have multiple stages. They can actually be branched. So once you've got a condition, your business process flow can follow a different stage, just like I showed you. and that they can be customized, but always in solutions, right? Always in solutions for everyone. I had here a business process flow demo that I showed you already. And within business process flows, actually, what I would like you to do for next time, because we went through the leads and we went through opportunities only a tiny bit, but just the leads so far, I would like you to create 3 leads and actually go in the lead to opportunity process. Just ignore this. You don't have to add a new branch, a new stage and steps. I think that's too much. So I think this is important for us to know, because even though business process flows seem to be only a tiny bit, only a tiny subject within this exam, this is something heavily used by everyone. And all of the companies I've worked for, they're always very interested in business process flow and how they work. And it's important for you to understand how they actually work. I also want to recommend you this course. So if you go here, if you can log in, and if you go here, you've got sales management in Microsoft Dynamics 365. Once you click on here, you could see you have only 6 subjects, I think. Yeah, only 6 subjects, and they're only around 30 minutes. So within here, there's a nice lady who tells us again what these things mean and how they can be customized, right? Now, where are you guys? Here. So I just wanted to know, by a show of hands, who has 10 more minutes, because I want to show you something else. Yeah, everyone? Cool.
Yeah, perfect.
Okay.
Yes.
Just 10 more minutes.
Yes, that's fine.
Yeah, that's fine.
I want to quickly show you sales territories and currency configuration. These are 2 subjects in our exam. They're not widely used and they're not complicated, but it's worth us knowing about them. So, sales territories are a thing to do with sales. They can represent a region, and once you have this region or a territory, you can map a sales manager or salesperson to it. I can quickly show you here in Dynamics. The only purpose for a sales territory and region is to actually know what team is closer to your, or what branch or what store is closer to your customer, so that they can reach out and sell your product. That this is why people use territories. Not a lot of people use territories, but some companies do. We can find territories under settings and business management. So within business management, we can see here sales territories. We already have some sales territories here. They're pretty big. We can actually have a very small geographic region, such as, I don't know, central London or zone 1 or anything like that, or even to clarify as a street in case anyone uses it. We can click on new and just create a new one. As you can see, it only has a name. So let's just say zone 1. You can see here you've got some menus, but they're all unavailable to us here. This is a common behavior for Dynamics 365. You only have access here once you have saved your record. So if you click on save, we can now add members to our zone 1. So a territory only has a name and a manager. You can set a manager for a territory. You don't have to, but you can set it. I'll just set myself as the manager for this territory. It's important to know that a manager can only have one territory. So again, this is not exactly how real life works. Normally, a regional manager can have multiple territories, but within Dynamics, you only have one, right? So one manager to one territory. And this means that the salespeople can only become to one can only belong to one territory as well. One reason why these things are useful is because sometimes you have different pricing for the same product depending on your territory. And a big company who I think uses this is IKEA. If you go to IKEA in different countries, they have different prices for exactly the same product. So if you work in a company like that, they might sell, different things to the same product to different regions for a different pricing. We can add members here, so we can click here and add members. We've got one member. I'm not sure that I actually have more users. But for example, very very. So I'm a member, even though I am the manager. I'm also a member for this territory, right? The other way we can map a user to a territory is if we go away from here, go to settings again, and we have security and users. So this is, my only user, which is me. If I come here, I should actually see territory. So you can see here that I belong to zone 1. And if I change my territory, in order to remove a search, you click on this X. So if I want to do Asia Pacific, click add. I've just changed my territory. Oh, by the way, Dynamics 365 saves itself by default, so you don't always have to click save. I'm just clicking save out of habit. So now if I go back to business management and territories, oh, I should be here. Let's just see. Maybe it didn't save it. Yeah. I'm here. Very interesting. It just said that it couldn't belong to any other members, to any other territories. I'll just click back to, let's just see. Oh, views work the same everywhere. So everywhere you have a list, this is a view. You can go to enabled users. This is me. If I add it here and save, I'm the member of this territory. Let's just see if it removed me from the other territory. No, it left me alone. So apparently I can actually be a member of multiple territories. Again, this is not something very much used, but here it is. If you ever need to use business territories, sales territories, if anyone uses it, this is it. I'm not sure that the exam will have any questions on it, But if they do, you should know this. And then the other thing that's actually being used in companies are currencies. So if we go to settings and business management and currencies, we have here active currencies. So I remember telling you last time that when we set up a new organization, it gives us a base currency or a default currency. So in our case, this is pound. If I click on this, we can see our base currency because it's grayed out. It says this currency is your base currency. All you can change is the name and the currency precision. In my case, I've got 2 decimal places and the currency symbol. But you cannot change the fact that this is our base currency. When Dynamics CRM, when the organization is set up, they actually set up this field here. This is not a field even, this is a label, right? This is my base, this is my one, right? So then, if I want to go ahead and add a new currency, I have to search for, I can have a system one or a custom one. If I go for a custom one, I can just define my own code and name and everything. If I go for a system one, we can see that the major currencies of the world have been added automatically by Dynamics CRM. So if we look for, let's just say, we already have euro. USA, there we go, US dollar. So if I click here, click add, we can see here that it knows the name, the symbol. It assumes the precision is 2 again, but I can change this. And also it asks me how many GBP is a US dollar. So straight away we have to say the currency conversion. I think it's 024. I think it's 074, something like that now. And I can save it. Now, important thing with currencies, we use them when we have international companies. International companies tend to sell in their own currency. Currencies are not calculated out of the box. So in order to have your exchange rate up to date, companies normally just integrate this once a day with an external system, or they just import the information every day. But even then, when you have to buy a product in your local currency, you have to do all of the calculations manually. Not manually, you set up your own workflows or your own calculations. But this is not done out of the box. That was it. That was all I wanted to tell you about today, and this is the whole first section of our manual. For the quiz, I actually am going to go onto Dynamics Learning portal, and this is our quiz to test our knowledge. I'm just going to make it like this so that I can see you. It only has 3 questions, but every subject, every module has a quiz at the end, and normally in my experience, these questions appear to be in the exam as well, in one way or the other. So in this case, it says, which of the following statements are true about business process flows? Um, First one, business process flows are designed to help organize information. What do you think? Is this true?
True.
Yes? No?
Yeah.
Everyone thinks they're designed to help organize information.
Yes.
Okay, we'll click yes.
No.
What are they?
They guide users through the different stages.
Yeah, this is what they do. I think that's correct as well. Business process flows have multiple stages. Yeah, we've seen that. We've seen the business process flow stages. We've seen that we can even add more stages to it, so that's fine. Business process flows have only one branch per process. Is this true or false? No. No, it's not true. They can have multiple branches per each process. So these are true answers. Let's just check this. This is correct. Next. Ooh, which of the following statements are true about sales territories? Let's just see. They're saying that a sales manager can only be linked to one sales territory. I'm telling you that the manual says the same, and I'm telling you that probably the exam will say the same thing as well. We just saw that we can assign it to multiple sales territories. But I'll say that we go with the exam because, it's a point for us. So I think that the exam will say that they can only be linked to one sales territory because this is what the manual tells us as well. You can assign a default price list to a sales territory. So as I was saying before, this is the actual aim of a sales territory. So do you agree that this is probably true as well?
Yeah.
Yeah. A salesperson can be linked to more than one sales territory. I say yes, they can be linked to one than more sales territory, but the manual will say no again. And sales territory can only represent a specific geographical region. So what do you think? Yeah? Yes. Let's check. No. So apparently, sales territories can represent more than a specific geographical region. Let's just see. In some scenarios, it might be appropriate to identify a price list for various sales territories. We can then link individual salespeople as team members of a sales territory. Correct. It is important to note that while one sales manager can be tied to many salespeople, a sales manager can only be tied to one sales territory. False. The same thing applies to salespeople. A salesperson can only belong to one sales territory. So as I said, the manual is telling us different things. But it's good to know what the manual says for the exam purposes only. If we go on to the next question, your company has relationships mainly with US-based companies, but occasionally you receive orders for companies in Canada and Mexico. Which configuration setting below would best support multi-currency? Select all that apply. Okay. So we've got a US-based company. We sell to Canada and Mexico. What should we do? Set the user default currency to user dollar. Leave the default currency blank. Set the default currency on the account level to ensure that any further financial transactions from that account are set to the correct currency option. And set the default at system level to US dollars. What do you think? Can we set a user default for US dollars? I mean, will that help us with Canada and Mexico?
No.
No, it won't happen. Oh, I have to select all that apply, not the other way around. Leave the default currency blank. We already have a default currency, so this is to confuse us a little bit. And set the default currency on the account level to ensure that any further financial transactions from that account are set with the current currency option. Once we do have an account, we can actually set the currency option on the account level. However, you should know that the lead and the opportunity currency rules the currency setting on the account level. So I think that it should work as long as we don't have another default or on the lead or the opportunity. And set currency default at the system level to US dollars. Given that this is a US based company, probably when they install the organization, they will have a US dollar currency level. Let's check the answer. They say you can set it as a user default as well. Probably as long as you only sell to those companies, this will work as well. Again, it says currency configuration. Assigning a default currency is performed during the installation or provision process, and even though it's not required, it's extremely important. It is a default. If a default currency isn't specified, user will need to select the currency every time they create a new financial transaction. It will be set. Let me just show you quickly here. Let's just close this down, leave. So when we actually use these currencies, is, for example, if we go to sales, leads, because we've got a new lead to sell something, we click on new. We've got topic, test, currency, name, this is for me. Within here somewhere, you will have currency. You can see the currency is always set. You cannot have a lead with a blank currency because when you install the product, it installs the currency as well. I'm telling you this because this course, it is very useful, but it was made in February 2017 and things are changing, and I just want to make sure that we just try everything that it says in there that it's actually true, because the tests change all the time. So we always have a currency here, right? It cannot be blank. And this flows through to all of our sale. If I change this to something else like euro, even though my base currency is pound, I can actually save this and sell something in euro. If my account name, let's just say this is an existing account, again with my pop-ups, but if my account had a pound sterling mapped to it, this currency on the lead would take control, and it would be euro in the end. These are very complex scenarios, and they really don't often that